Hi, and we're back on Unzipped with your host Hector, and I have my guest for today, Priscilla, who happens to be one of my longest best friends. And today, our Unzipped cocktail is not really a cocktail, it's a red wine that my friend suggested. We're not gonna tell you the label, not today. Sucks, I know, but it's really good.
It's really, really good.
Cheers.
Cheers again.
It's a good episode. And today, we're actually gonna talk about a sort of serious subject, but you guys know me, I can't ever be serious.
We can only be serious for a couple minutes.
Like 2 seconds.
No, at a time. There's a time and place for everything.
Exactly. And we're going to talk about women of color and politics, kind of their role right now in this new year of 2018 and kind of like during this administration and all that stuff. So how do you feel?
About politics and the world in general?
No, not
women.
the world. The women
of color
in
politics. I think there need to be more of us. And I think there are a lot of us already, and like, you know, we are making strides in a lot of ways. Like, women of color are like one of the like leading, most educated women in New York, in the world.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I need to like, I don't know, like you're busting my social media cherry. I'm a little nervous.
Ooh, you're right. She's not used to being on camera, being on the social media things, you know.
I'm definitely not. But no, I think women of color, like, we're really educated and like there's so many diverse skill sets that we possess that I feel like people can take advantage of. This is my dog.
Yes, we have like
Another
Chelsea Handler, had Chunk running around on stage. We have Lulu. Lulu wants to be a part of our Zip too.
She definitely does.
She wants to be the mascot. but as far as women of color in politics, I will say that I'm grateful to this administration for that one thing, is the fact that it's definitely been a driving force within minorities to get them motivated to get into politics. We've seen droves of people who are literally getting involved within their city councils, within, you know, trying to...
local politics.
Yes, because that's how you start. That's literally how you build your resume and to get to those other steps.
Right.
You know, so I feel like that's very important. Like, I feel like through this administration, we've educated ourselves on what the process really is in the sense of what steps you have to take to kind of, because it's not just only going to vote for your president, it's literally everything else.
Right. Because we're at this point now where it's literally do or die. Like, do this or you're going to be in the back in chains. And nobody wants that, like, at all. Like,
listen.
Taking away rights for, like, women, birth control, like, immigration, LGBT rights. Like, this is kind of like 1950 all over again. And they're really trying to, like...
Literally, like that's what I feel like. That's
what
it's MAGA. That's what Make America. That's what Make America Great Again stands for. Taking that shit way back. Do you know that there's people who literally had their their citizenship revoked because their fingerprints didn't transfer over to the digital. So all their so the people who
so anything that was like paper records.
Mm-hmm. So anyone whose fingerprints are in the digital storage, or they're
you don't exist.
revoked. Like they're not a citizen. So they have to go back to not go back to the process, but kind of like, you know, redo it.
I'm not surprised.
So
I mean, like, I feel like
they're trying to get us out of here.
Right, and that's really what it comes down to. And everyone wants to use, like, I'm glad you brought up a couple things. And one, you know, getting people involved, both people of color and also everyone else involved in local politics, and just being educated on what it means to be involved in politics is, I think this has come to a head, and now people are doing it, and that's awesome. And I think we need to like continue doing that. And two, yes, this was literally the great white, like, we are gonna get rid of anything that doesn't resemble like Pleasantville.
For real.
We need all our Stepford wives to come out there.
And that's what they did. They literally, that's what they did. The Stepford wives came out and voted. 53% of y'all.
They were like, hold my wine. I'm going.
Like, what was wrong with them?
And that's what's so fascinating to me, is that like I have this conversation fairly often with like several different groups of people from like different backgrounds, race, sex orientation, creed, all of that. And I just, you know, I keep hearing some of the same things and like the same talking points reiterated, which is, oh, people of color didn't come out in droves. And not just women, you know, because women have time and time shown again, like politically we are involved. We go to the polls. We vote in both local elections and also like state, national elections. Like, we do this.
No, even a perfect example was what happened in Alabama. Like, literally, black women came out, they voted, and this is why we don't have a child molester right now.
And that's so scary. And like, people are like celebrating it as a huge victory, and I think it's awesome. Like, great, we won, but we only barely won.
Yeah.
We won by like 51%. Like, that's scary. That means 49% of Alabamans were like, this is fine.
It's okay.
He has family values, though. Like, what? No.
No.
It's not okay. You wouldn't accept that for your children, so why would you elect that person?
And I hate when people, and you know what? To stray a little bit from the topic, and we'll get right back on topic. That was something that really bothered me during that election. It's kind of like, oh, but in those times. I don't care in those times. We're not in those times. It's 2018. It was 2017 for the election, but we're currently in 2018. But for me, it's kind of like, I don't care if it was legal for you to get married at 12 in 1930s. Like, no, that doesn't care. I'm talking about right now. It's wrong now. You know it's wrong.
Right.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
And then mind you, if you were to tell me, well, back then he was doing, but he's not doing it now. No, like, you're not even allowed in malls right now because you be trolling for youngins. Like, what are you doing?
Trolling for that is.
Trolling for the young girls. Talk about, I want to be elected. Elected where? You need to elect your morals to come back into your life.
Yeah, it's actually really scary. And it's just, it's just the morality piece of, like, police have come out. And it's just like, how can you say that you're so for, like, going back to traditional morals and things like that when, one, this guy is, like, almost might as well be a sex offender, like alleged. Sorry, it's not officially like alleged. Alleged. Because now you have to be safe about everything you say because everyone is now being accused of everything. Yeah. And I think like this whole Me Too movement is another example of it. Like I'm so happy that it's happening, and I think that I'm glad that women are finding the courage because you'll find that a lot of like women, even in your life, you don't know that have had moments, and I think it's awesome that it's like an awakening almost. My only concern and question is to like at what point do we actually do a whole reflective analysis, right? Because thus far it's been like, okay, this person did this, that person did that, but it's the whole industry, right? Just like when everyone says like, how did we elect Trump? Like, how did this happen? Everyone hates him. Everybody I know somebody's lying, right?
Not even that, but it's like people forget that
somebody's.
It's not just there's a lot of factors that come into play, and this is something that I feel like when I was discussing again, even though she's not a woman of color, but with Hillary Clinton, I feel like people of a certain color do not like to take responsibility for their failures, which is why Trump has like 11 bankruptcies. But with Hillary,
that would be acceptable for no one else, by the way.
Yeah, but Hillary literally was out here just literally talking to the people who she knew were gonna vote for her. She made no strides to go to the Rust Belt. She made no strides to visit, the areas where that were swing states because she felt comfortable in that thing. Like, well, everyone who voted for Obama is gonna vote for me, and it's like, no, sis.
Easy. So, do you think that it was like partially like her unlikability that lost the election, or do you think it was just like a greater thing?
I feel like it was multiple factors. I feel like it was just the fact that a lot of people do not like her because she's kind of like a stern, like and not even that she comes off stern. It's just kind of like her demeanor is very just like serious, and then on top of that, people always hear the sensational things, and that's what they pay attention to. So they always focus on, like, for example, that Uranium One deal. They want to focus on the email server, but it's kind of like, okay, these were mistakes. These are things that already were investigated. There was no faults found in it. Why are you still promoting this story? But it's a cover-up.
Right. So I think that, like, when it comes to politicians and politics in general, like, I feel like you have to have some little bit of, like, not going to say, like, evil in you, but you have to be willing to like bend the rules a little bit to like get what you want. And so I'm not gonna say that I don't think that Hillary Clinton is without fault. I think that there are probably a lot of like corrupt things that she's done, but I think that there's a lot of corrupt things that a lot of politicians and they have a difficult job to do. So I'm not gonna say like sit and say like everyone's just should be angelic all the time, but it's like in comparison, like they say, oh well, they thought they chose the lesser of two evils, and I'm like, this is not even scalable. Like he's not even close. He has no experience. Nothing. He's shown that he's not like really mentally all there. He tweets all day. And then you have this woman who's like, oh, she had a couple emails that like
that y'all found. That y'all found later on anyway, and there was nothing going on.
But it's the same excuse that people use for Obama. Is like, oh, he brought our country down, he brought race relations down, and all of this stuff. Dude, he got like antagonized by like Fox News for wearing a tan suit. This guy is grabbing vagines left and right.
No one has nothing to say about it. But you know what they are doing though? You know what Fox News is doing though? They're gonna air a special about Bill Clinton and his scandal with Monica Lewinsky. Like we're back in the 1990s again. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, there's like, where's the journalistic integrity there? It's like not.
It's not. It's in Sean Hannty's mug. That's where it is. In his mug. In that mug that sits on his desk, filled with evil potions. I'm convinced. But like. But something I really wanted to touch on was kind of like Maxine Waters, who has been like one of the biggest advocates.
Reclaim my time.
Yes, for Trump's impeachment, and literally has had the best. She's so memeable and it's crazy because reclaiming my time. Now everyone wants to reclaim their time. I'm reclaiming my time right now on this episode. But then that's my fear. It's kind of like you have this person who clearly is educated, who clearly has this purpose and this mindset and these policies that she wants to enact, but now we kind of see her as kind of like a household name that's kind of more like, oh, you're the auntie.
You're the auntie.
You're this meme. You're kind of like this character. And I was like, okay, so at what point is that something that's gonna help you enact policies, or do you feel that that's something that maybe might hinder the policies that these politicians want to enact by becoming these social media sensations?
Well, I think that in this day and age, obviously, like I was having this conversation in a separate capacity about, social media exposure and just dealing with the trolls and just becoming like an internet celebrity. And I think it's, it's unavoidable when you say things that move the people in any direction, whether it's hateful or like really uplifting and positive, or just straight up truth, which is everything she's speaking. Maxine Waters came through and she said, first of all, what we're not going to do. We're not going to do this. And
not on my time.
Right, exactly. And so like, granted, people start to take things less serious when they become social media like explosions, right? But at the same time, when it's a message, which I think she very clearly has stated, like, this is unacceptable, I think that it can only help her campaign. The internet is undefeated. They'll always make a meme out of anything.
This is very true.
Like Jordan's face on the earth, like if we were
crying.
all gonna die, just crying. Like it's gonna happen. There's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah.
But I think that in exposing that kind of message to people, whether they like it, hate it, whatever, it's out there, and the larger your crowd is, the more successful you'll be.
And that's one thing I will say about Maxine. I feel that she does a very good job of walking that fine line where it's kind of like, okay, you want me to be the auntie? I can be the auntie. You want me to be...
Yeah, I can be the auntie.
Yeah, you want me to be this pop culture politician sensation? I can do that. You want me to do the rounds on the interviews? I can do that. But what you're not going to do is stray me from the why I'm sitting on this couch, which is we need to impeach this orange motherfucker in the office right now.
Right. And to play devil's advocate, because I always like to weigh both sides of the argument, is that the negative, I mean, not negative, I wouldn't say this is a negative, but the downside is the extremes at which people go on social media. So, right, we're talking Maxine Waters, but how about the fact that Oprah made a speech recently, and now they're like, Oprah for president, and it's like, what? What are you guys talking about? Like, can we just have a regular person for a little bit? Like
so did y'all not learn the lesson?
It's a normal thing now.
Like, y'all didn't learn the lesson from having Trump in office, no?
Right.
No? Oh, okay, so
like,
y'all really want
next?
They really want to make the Simpsons like predictions come
right.
true,
and,
all of them.
And so it's kind of like that's an instance where social media, I think, exposure doesn't really. She's going ham.
Hi,
on
Lulu's. We're watching.
She's
Lulu.
going ham on my foot. She does this all the time. It's just she's just being rude. Lulu, stop. Thank you.
Okay, no, wait, I'm not gonna mention that on camera. We'll talk about that later.
Ooh.
No, it wasn't nothing bad. Well, I mean, it was bad, but it wasn't. Well, I'm gonna knock on wood for Lulu.
Okay.
No, because it
As
reminded.
you start talking about it.
Right, no, because in my mind, it just reminded me of Chunk, of Chelsea, but Chelsea's dog, but Chunk passed away.
Oh.
I think like either yesterday or like
Recently.
Yeah, like recently.
Oh.
A slap face.
Poor Rudolph Chunk.
Right? A moment of silence for Chunk. Silence for Chunk, I should say. And we're back. But then again, and this goes also into play with the fact that we were talking about Maxine Waters, and Kamala Harris is another one who's kind of been at the forefront,
in the limelight
a lot. I'm an avid,
yes.
I'm an avid fan of both of them. Not because I'm a messy bitch that lives for drama, but because I like to see women. I like to see strong women because I was raised by a strong woman. So I like to see strong women in their field, kind of like just excelling, and not only excelling, but just calling out the people who need to be called out for it. But the reason I bring up Kamala Harris is because not only am I a fan, but recently because aside from her not being on social media, I'm an avid social media user, and that's how I get my news. I'm not gonna say, I don't get the fake news. I got the real news. Okay, Trump? But with her, she's kind of been in the news with Cory Booker because they've been appointed to the Senate Judiciary Committee. And they're on the oversight. They were conducting interviews with the Department of Homeland Security Secretary. She had, first name is Kristen with a J in it, and last name Nielsen, not like the record. You know she's from Norway. But, no, but it kind of, on social media, they were kind of getting at them for not at them, more towards Cory Booker, because they felt that when he was questioning the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, it came off kind of like an act. So for me, I feel that, yes, I do want to feel that outrage. I do want to know that, you know what, the same way that if I hear someone say that Dominican Republic, for example, or that Haiti, for example, which is the sister country of DR, is a shithole, is a shithole country, I would get offended. Like I'm not gonna get offended. I am offended because a lot of times you go to these third world countries, and they're not that much different from the country that you live in. That they may have a more extreme version of poverty, yes, but if you go to Kentucky, I'm pretty sure they have a rustic town out there that has like 500 residents, and they're all sharing their SNAP benefits together. So at the end of the day, you know, there are quote unquote shithole places anywhere you go.
Right, and I think that, like, I definitely think that applause needs to be given to Kamala Harris. She's doing her job, you know? Like, more people should be like that and do their jobs and not allow corruption to take over our government in the most obvious ways.
We're looking at you people that stay silent.
Hello.
Because we know how you guys vote when those policies come into play, bitches. Because y'all be like, act brand new.
What it really comes down to is people don't, like, a lot of people have shown that, like, if they don't relate to the thing directly, then they're not. Well, I'm not political, I don't really care. Like, and I think there's a time and place for everything, but when it comes to, like, voting out people who are oppressive, come out. You know, if it's not about you, it doesn't matter. Like, have some compassion.
You have to think about the greater good of your community in the sense of, remember, you may not care,
but you're next.
but your neighbor. It's kind of like remember it was literally how World War II with the Jews. Oh, it's not in my country. It's so far away. It's not gonna come to me. I'm good. And the next thing you know, 2 months later, you're in your basement wondering if you're gonna get caught or not.
Let's do the drill. Stop, drop, and roll.
Like seriously, like
yeah.
Do you guys want to wait for that? Do you guys want to wait until we're all in our basements huddled together? Like, you can't play Uno too loud because bitch, they gonna get you, girl.
It's after curfew.
Like, no, I don't know. I'm not ready for that.
It's very scary because it's very reminiscent of like this old Southern strategy, which is everyone who's not like you is the enemy. And really, I think personally that it's just a reaction, a national reaction to the whole like browning of America. People have put labels on it saying, oh, it's the economic strife and we want to bring our economy back and all these excuses. But really, the people who are like making this claim that the economy needs to be better are like coal workers, miners, people who like have gotten their jobs taken away because people overseas are doing them for pennies on the dollar. And it's like, who are the people who are doing this? The same people that you voted in office. It's like the Republican Party has shown that they're very successful in getting people to vote against their self-interest in this instance. And that's
in every instance.
And that's, well, this is an extreme one, right? Because we've had like Democratic like leads for like a couple of years now. Bush is our...
To be honest, I will give Bush the credit of saying just this one thing. I feel like if he had never had that Iraq war, his administration wouldn't have been as bad as it was. If he had never gone to Iraq.
He didn't want to be president.
He didn't.
Well, he didn't. He wanted to do art. Because that's what he's doing.
He wanted to be a drunk cokehead on his farm and paint. And I can't be mad at that because, listen, I want to be a drunk pothead on a farm, possibly not painting. But, you know, even though I do paint, I really do paint. But, you know, but maybe just doing this. Talking and ranting.
And it's just, I would love for, you know, the rest of America to come together and realize this. And I always ask myself, what's the solution? Because, right, we live in a very, like, metropolitan area, the coasts, right? And so, like, the middle of America, which we now see is a huge part because they add the power of influencing elections. How do we get that message across to them to say, hey, you need us, you need women of color. We're not going to just bail you out every time Alabama comes through and it's like, okay, pedophiles for everyone. Like, no, we can't. It just seems like for women of color specifically, like, people rely on us as like a mammy-ish kind of figure where it's like, come save us. Okay, thanks, bye.
It's because literally, I don't want to say just black women, I want to say minorities in general have been the backbone of America. And I'm going to say this, and my next words are directed to white Americans.
I'm scared.
I'm directing my next words to white America. You fucked up. Why? Because when you wrote the Constitution, you said this was the land of the free. This was a land of opportunity. You have a big green statue at the Port of New York that welcomes the immigrants. Literally, the message of the Statue of Liberty is, bring me your tired.
You're huddled, you're poor, you're huddled masses.
Not your rich, not your educated, not your Norwegians.
No offense to Norway.
No offense to Norway. But not your Norwegians, They said, give me your tired, your poor, and your huddled masses, which means, yeah, Trump, those people in those shithole countries that are protected by those laws, those are the ones that we want. You put on a statue, boo.
Yeah,
those are the ones we want in this country. So, like I said, you fucked up. Why? Because when you did that, you told the rest of the world, come to my country, be great, achieve that dream. And now that you guys are no longer in power and aren't the majority, you are the majority in that 1%, but we coming for you, boo. We coming for that 1% because you want us to get educated in order to get jobs. So now that we're educated and getting those high-paying jobs, we're coming for that crown. We're coming for those tax brackets. And when we get there, boo, revolution.
Tell them how you really feel.
I'm serious. No. Because they need to know. At the end of the day, you invite, well,
not invited.
Let's be clear. Let's be clear.
Not invited here.
Most of us were brought here against our will. Okay? The rest of us.
There was no invite. It wasn't like, oh, America's calling. Oh, there's a party. Come.
No. But you dragged us here.
Stop, Lula.
Now we here. We're making a world for ourselves, and y'all mad.
It's just, it really comes down to, like, I don't think. It's fine.
No.
I got you something.
Okay. Finish your point.
People, sorry, I'm all over the place.
No.
People need to operate for the greater good, period.
Yeah.
Like, you need to realize that everybody wants success. Everyone wants to be great. And if we could help build each other up rather than try to break each other down and divide each other by race, class, sex, gender, things that are so superficial and flexible as we now see, then we'll all do better for ourselves, like, period.
Yes. And that's the one thing, again, back to women of color in politics. Listen, they are our superheroes right now because, again, during that Kamala Harris interview, hi, boo, you want some wine too? Go get the But during that Kamala Harris interview with the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, she really went in because she literally told it to her face. She licking it?
Yes.
Ooh, spicy. But she literally pointed out the fact that when she gave that speech and gave that information about terrorism and the stats, she left out an important factor, which was white supremacist acts of terror, which we are seeing in more and more every month to month, year to year. And even if the domestic terrorism that has happened that may not be linked to white supremacy has been, not all of them, but the vast majority, especially those mass shootings, have been conducted by Caucasian men. So
they're angry. It's like, why are they so angry?
Again, and that's it. Why are you so angry? And again, why is it taking for, again, women of color to be the ones to point the finger, to be the ones to say this is wrong, to be the ones to kind of be like, okay, guys, this is an issue. Again,
we need our allies everywhere we can get.
The
Southern strategy needs to stop. People, women, who are not like white women, black, people need to stop voting against their self-interest.
I just have to say this, and I do feel that the one thing I feel that we as people of color should do is have those conversations. And I know that not every racist, because they don't have to be white to be racist. But yeah, we'll get to that on a different day. But every racist is not going to be convinced. Every racist, again, isn't an extremist. So you can have conversations with some of them and get to kind of like a middle ground. And I feel those conversations do need to be had. Just because you will never defeat your enemy if you don't know their process.
There are actually a couple of shows on Vice, I forget, I think it's called like Most Hated or something like that, where this like interracial, like biracial guy, he goes around like America to like those middle American like, coal worker places and goes like to the heart of like white supremacist towns, asks like, what's your deal? He gets invited into the house, he eats dinner with them, and they seem like nice and pleasant people until they start burning that cross after dessert. Like, honey,
yeah, like,
go get the kerosene, it's time. Like, and it's interesting because to follow up with your point is that he's putting his pride to the side, and I commend him. I don't know if I could ever do that, but he puts himself, one, in danger, and two, in the line of like fire for these people who hate him just off of the fact that he's half black, like,
And I feel like you shouldn't put yourself in physical harm, but again, like, I feel if you want to go and have a conversation with someone, feel free to do so. That is your, that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like people have forgotten the art of communication. And I feel that these people, again, these are things that aren't, you're not born hating someone else because of their color. It's their education. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's their education, it's kind of their upbringing. So a lot of times they don't, not I want to say that they don't know any better, but it's kind of like, if you grow up, literally someone tells you, this cup is black, every day it's black, and black.
It's bad.
And I come to you today and I'm like, you realize that that cup is not black, it's clear. You're gonna look at me like I'm crazy. And no matter how many times I tell you, it's clear. And if I don't have a viable conversation with you where I have actual points to bring across to you, and I'm like, okay, you're telling me it's clear, but I don't care. It's a black cup because I was told it was a black cup.
And that's both the power and detriment of social media. Is one, you can have these discussions, things are coming out. Like before, you think that all these people, like for example, cop shooting random innocent bystanders or just random suspects. That's been going on since forever, but now we have social media to be the vehicle to say, hey, this is happening, we're not lying. Women are dying in custody. Like, this is not anything new to us, but here, you guys see it too. But it also, the downside is that because social media, everybody has an opinion, everyone talks, but people don't listen.
Exactly.
And so that, I feel like if we can kind of find a way to like, you know, reach each other effectively without calling each other names, resorting to like insults and ignorance and things like that, then we could all, like, you know, at least start to address the elephant in the room, which is this is out of control. And black women, we're superheroes, but at the same time, it's like we're also just being decent human beings, and everyone can do that.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
And that's my whole thing. It's kind of like, even if you're Susie, homemaker, like, you should know in your mind, like, you know what, maybe this isn't right.
Maybe I should be able to, like birth control or, like, women's services from Planned Parenthood. It's like everyone is entitled to that.
Like, you're going to sit there and tell me that you're literally in your, at home. Hi, Becky. We're talking to you. You're literally at home.
I'm talking to everyone who's hot messing in life.
No. I'm listening, but I'm just saying, like, in the sense of, because it baffles me that you literally sit there in your house and you don't think to yourself, hi, I have a vagina, and if, let's say, I didn't have insurance and I needed to go to Planned Parenthood to get whatever case, now I can't go because, you know, I voted for my husband's choice, Trump.
You see, that's the thing. People, again, it's people voting against their own self-interest because they think it doesn't apply to them. They're like, oh, take away all those services, but to them it's like for those other people. Like all the
people who voted for Trump thinking that their health insurance wasn't going to be revoked. It's kind of like,
and then wondering, hey, what happened? Yeah, no, it's actually fascinating. Like this whole like the effectiveness of this southern strategy, like assault. It's assault. It's an assault on our rights almost. And it's surprisingly just, I don't know how you convince someone to believe that things that are good for them are bad for them, but just bring
because they're not educating. It's like that person who really there's no reason. It's kind of just like, just do this. Okay.
But you said it yourself. Like, how could you sit as any woman of any color, sit and say, hey, I need this, that, or like access to services,
and then vote against it?
But you have to realize that it's some of these women don't have the autonomy we think they do. Right? Some of them are in the kitchen raising a gang of kids.
Sis, let me tell you.
And it's just, you know, everyone has like their different story. It's just interesting, like that. Even if you don't have that autonomy, you should like have the common sense enough to know, like. Hey.
Or no, listen. I'm pretty sure that if you are this kind of wife where your husband literally tells you jump and you say how high, I'm pretty sure there have been times where you've burned dinner and you've had to start over and you've lied, correct? Because I'm pretty sure everyone in their life has lied. No one's out here telling the truth 24/7. So I'm pretty sure that you've told the white lie in your past. I'm pretty sure you can go into the voting booth, vote Democrat, and then lie to your husband and be like, oh no, I definitely voted for Trump. Like, seriously, sis. Like, I'm pretty sure he's not a mind reader.
You know what you just reminded me of? What do you think of this this sorority girl in, I think it was in Alabama, actually, also.
The one who got kicked out of school because she was like, nigger, 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 nigger.
How do you feel about that? That was a lot. I saw that, and then she came back with the comeback video like, I don't care. I'm from the South. I'm from Jersey, and I'm in the South now. Like, I saw the first video, and I was like, huh? Because I watched the show Deeza Samara, which is like one of my favorite shows. Really put me onto it, actually. And it's hilarious.
Is she Italian?
I think so. She looks, I don't know, maybe. I don't know. But like, it's fascinating because literally she's in the mirror and she's just like washing her hands and it's like, oh, water. And then she's like, niggers. I'm saving black people by washing my hands with the water. Like, what? Huh? What's happening? And then from that, of course, she got the internet came through in full force. It was like, oh, what you're not going to do is.
Yeah, and then she was in that car, like, I could say nigger if I want to nigger, 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 nigger. And I was like, wow. I looked at the video and was like,
So what do you think about that as a, like.
First of all,
Lulu's intrigued.
she is. All y'all white not wanting to be white people, y'all realize that to be white, you have to come from a country that was from the Caucasus Mountain, like in the Caucasus Mountain region.
So you're saying because she's maybe like
No,
Italian?
she feels because she's Italian, she's not white. And because I've always encountered that, and I always found that funny. Like, you will go to someone and be like, oh no, I'm not white, I'm Irish. Oh no, I'm not white, I'm Italian. Oh no, I'm not white, I'm Portuguese.
Like, the idea of race is a malleable construct, right? It's a social construct.
I'm gonna say this, babe. If someone from your country migrated to a different country and enslaved someone of a darker color, boo, you might be white. just putting it out there. Just a gentle, boop.
I think it's interesting also that people are doing like a lot of these like DNA tests and like interesting
I'm 3%
results.
black.
Right?
I'm black
results,
now.
Right? Like, it's funny how like the truth can come out and it's like you've been claiming XYZ all your life and then you find out you're also A, B, and C and all those things that you hate. So I think that, people
Granny
are
wasn't
just,
so pure, was she?
Yeah, it's very interesting. And like they have like people like white supremacists, for example, and like different people of different backgrounds who are basically surprised that they're like, oh my god, I have this percentage of other in me, and then they're like, what the fuck? I don't believe it,
Y'all
Maybe everyone needs to take that test, but I don't know if that's gonna actually change anything. That's
No, they're not gonna care because they're gonna stick to the point that they're 93% white, and then that's gonna be okay for them.
It's a social construct.
No, but to me,
no, I know, I hear you.
No, but I'm just saying like no, but in all honesty, I'm not a reverse racist, in the sense of like I don't. No, I don't believe in that either. But I'm saying like I'm not like for the people out there, I'm not a reverse racist. Like I don't have any ill will towards Caucasians or anyone who self-identifies as Caucasians, or even if you're a Republican, I have no ill will towards you. We can still be friends. Well, we can be acquaintances if you're Republican, and we can be friends if you're white. I've dated Caucasians. That's kind of like this is the reverse speech. You know how they be like, no, I'm not racist because I have a black friend. I've dated Caucasians. I have Caucasian friends. So listen, I'm not racist. But I'm gonna go get a refill.
I grew up in a very and it's interesting. Like when I was growing up, I didn't see these things as clear as I do now because I grew up in a very fortunate enough to be in a very multicultural like society in this little isolated place in the city. So like my best friend is white. One of my best friends is white. I have friends from different backgrounds, races, creed, sex, all of it. And so to grow up and see this like picturesque, like everything is fine, and then kind of be awakened to like, oh, everything is not fine, and actually you're kind of a target for everything is kind of like, damn. Like, why? I thought it was like 2000 and whatever.
I thought we were cool.
Yeah.
What happened?
I just think that as people grow up, they become more like it's true. People become more centered in their like beliefs as they grow older. They become less malleable and open to other ideas. And I just think that women as a whole in general, like women of color, need to get together and get it through other women's heads. That like, hey, we're all in this together, so let's get it together.
And I'm very
get this done.
And I'm very appreciative of the fact that even, I would say that I like the fact that we've seen women in politics, kind of, even if they're women as Republicans, even if they're Democrats, they seem to be more able to kind of cross the aisle and get bipartisanship policies into, like, at least to the desk, even if it doesn't get signed, because we all clearly there's a government shutdown about to happen. So
it happened, and then it wasn't.
And then it wasn't.
Yeah, that's literally what happened. It's like it was shut down because we didn't hit our deadline, and then they're like, and we're back.
We still got some time to vote. No, but yeah, so it's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? So I feel, because there were times even with, when it came to the healthcare repeal, you had senators literally that were women, that were Republican, that literally, and they stood up and they were like, listen, this is not going to work. The same thing is going on when it comes to this DACA agreement. They're standing up like, listen, this is not going to work. And it's not, and this is the thing that I love about it, that as much as Trump may want to go online and say, oh, it's the Democrats holding it up, it's the Democrats that don't want to work with us, you clearly don't have all the Republicans on board with you either, because clearly they're not pushing it through.
Yeah, there's a lot of fracturing going on, and leaking, which I appreciate because we need to know, going on within this administration.
Soaking wet.
Leak.
Jamario thought of you. Shout out. Plug. Because he did that. Because he did that. He was like licking. So,
it's funny. Yeah, like, I mean, I appreciate that. And we need more of that. And, you know, be decent. That's it. Be a decent human being. It's not hard.
It's really not that hard. It's really, but again, I feel that when it comes to politics, it's a little bit harder to be decent in the sense of, because you have these people in power who necessarily aren't in politics, and for you to, let's say, go from being, well, to be in Senate, they still have to hold rallies and get donations, stuff like that, and people don't part with their money.
Yeah. Well,
just
I mean, what about the Betsy DeVos? Like, she's an example that she's a woman in politics. She's not a woman of color, but she's a woman in politics who's actively sabotaging everyone else, like in the form of taking away education and in the idea of having parents have their own right to choose where they, like, no.
But see,
she's not educated at all. You
have to get into her background though. She's literally been an advocate of, like, that's what her agenda. She's been advocating it for the longest, and literally was put into place for that. Because the crazy thing about it is, if you go back and you actually listen to the things that Steve Bannon says and the things that Trump said.
I don't listen to anything.
No, in the sense of, like, kind of like, before that, like, Trump became president, their whole idea was to get in power and to literally destroy
everything.
Everything.
And so it's happening.
Exactly. Like, literally, it's happening before our eyes. And it's what I don't understand. It's like, kind of like, you're literally seeing this coming true, and the only people who are standing up are a handful of women. We're the men in this. Because this McCain gave us a thumbs down, and then
for tax reform.
No, it was for healthcare, and then literally voted through the tax reform that helps who?
Right. Well, yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And you're on your deathbed. Like, you got the cancer of the brain. Like, what are you doing out here? Like, I feel for him. Like, use your last couple of moments to do some good.
But he's standing against the majority of his party. Like, that's pretty difficult. Like, the fact that he even was able to stand up against... Right. Now. And it's like, as much as everyone hates Trump, and it's like, Trump, in my opinion, Trump is a distraction. It's the actual party itself that, like, the people who support him, the people who coddle him, and are like, oh, you're doing a great job, sir, and the people who come on to, like, shows on networks and have talking points
and excuse him.
Trump is amazing. They're the ones who are really at fault.
And you know what kills me? Because white Americans have always been united. They will literally unite themselves against anyone encroaching on them. And to me, it's crazy to see that, like, it's crazy the fact that you see that happening at a stage where no one should be just so gun-ho to protect someone that is clearly unfit for their role in government. And the fact that these Republicans literally run.
It's not just white Republicans.
No, not white Republicans.
No, I'm just saying, just keep in mind.
That's what I was getting to. In my mind, I can understand white Republicans do it, because kind of like, okay, like, this is the guy we voted in, this is the guy who's going to push our agenda, this is who we have to protect. Fine, get it, done. I don't get...
How do you explain the rest of them?
The rest of the Republicans.
Okay, so we're talking about...
Like Ben Carson.
Well, again, he's just looking at it as an opportunity, right? He wants to get whatever he can and get it. He's a surgeon. How does he have this role for housing and development? Like, how? Where's the qualifications sway?
I really want an explanation.
But that's a microcosm for the entire administration. Like, random people who do, like, oil company tycoons are, like, running things that
running the finance department.
Have nothing to do with anything. And, like, it's probably not going to end well. I would like to hope, for the sake of our nation, that it doesn't go up in flames as bad as we think it will. But yeah, it's just a small snapshot of what it is to be in this administration. It's funny that you mentioned, like, the rest of them, because with going back to the whole shithole comment, there was actually, and it's fascinating, the Haitian American Republican, I forget her name, who basically was like, this is unacceptable. But she, up until that point, supported everything. And so it's kind of like, this was the breaking point. And I think that goes back to my original point, which is people tend not to be in favor of things unless it affects them. Right? So she was cool agreeing with everything until it's like,
you want a Trump train until they said one thing bad about where you come from.
And then it's like, oh no, you didn't. Like,
yeah, he did.
So
he's been doing it for a while.
I think people just need to, like, in politics and I think in general, just need to have more empathy for their fellow man, and everyone is not without some sort of, like,
And that's what I'm saying. Like, to me, listen, I get it. We're all humans. We've all been in a situation where we've had to choose the lesser two evils to get something done for the greater majority. Like, listen, we've all had to get our hands dirty at some point with something. Minor, big, it doesn't matter. So I understand the fact that, you know what, in order for me to get something done, I may have to scratch somebody's back that I don't want to scratch. But again, if it's to promote the greater good for, let's say, for a whole nation, then bitch, let's get to scratching. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get to scratching. But like, it's just nothing. There's nothing. Like, there's no. It's kind of like you want the Democrat. I feel like the Republicans want the Democrats to kind of just double over and just be like, okay, we're gonna just accept everything the Republicans are doing. So I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way, because I don't understand how you've been a party for so long and because you can't act like this last year has just been one golden ride. Like, there's a golden era for America and the U.S. presidency. Like, that's not what's been happening. Every time you guys enact something, every time you guys write something, every time a policy is written and passed into law,
a lot of times it's secret.
It's in secret, and then it blows up in your face. No one, like literally, most of Americans don't like it. Your party, the people who are part of your party that are voting for you don't like it. So, who are you enacting these policies for if it's not for the general American public?
For themselves.
Exactly.
To make more money. Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm just upset that we're right now kind of sort of dependent on the women in politics to kind of save us right now, because to me, I may be wrong, but it's my opinion that I feel that they're the ones who are literally out here just kind of like redlining everything, like, this is wrong, this isn't right, fix this, do this, and everyone else is just like, I'm gonna just sit back and just let this play out. And I mean, he's only here for 4 years. We'll just vote him out in 2020.
Hopefully. That's the scary part. Hopefully, get out, get involved, vote. Vote. Important, side note, self-care. Sometimes because of this atmosphere, it's so vitriolic and so poisonous, and it's everywhere. Like, you wake up and it's just like, ugh, what did he do next? Like, even with the whole shithole comments, my friend hit me up and was like, hey, did you see what Trump said this time? And I was like, oh, the thing about that? He was like, no, it happened again. And it's just like, you wake up and it's more and more, and it's draining, and you're in this climate where it's like, everything is divisive. Yes. So definitely, I think what's important is to take a moment out and, like, detach and care about the people around you, who, like, the women in your family, the men, and all of y'all. Just, take a step back and appreciate the things you have, because you can't always 24/7 be on it. Unless you are a politician, then you have to be.
Yeah.
But
and
like,
even they take breaks.
Right. It's important. He said, gala tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Be there.
Be there, be square.
Be there or be a loser.
It doesn't matter if we don't get the shut down what it is.
It's so great. It's amazing.
It's fine. Little hands. But to add to what you're saying, I also feel that it's important to not let ourselves be desensitized.
Yes.
Because that's something else. Because I do feel that, again, it's gonna be something, of course, like, he's a TV personality that's living in the White House. So I get the fact that he's very, like, it's easy to make a skit about Trump. It's easy to make a joke about him. It's like, he's making it easy for you. I understand it. He's a fucking comedy, and not a good one. It's like a bad comedy, like the one that you laugh at uncomfortably because you're not sure you should be watching it, and you're not sure you should be offended because you're slightly offended, but but it's a joke. But is it really a joke? That's kind of the shit show we're going right now. So for me, I just feel like TV, social media will make a meme, will make it a joke to desensitize the public. Do not allow yourself to be desensitized. Stay woke, and not Hotep woke. Just stay woke to the scams, because that's another thing. There's extremes to the left, and there's extremes to the right.
Agreed.
Y'all Hoteps.
We about to stray.
Ooh, we're not gonna stray. I'm gonna just say, ooh, I might just dedicate a show to y'all. Y'all know that y'all are just as bad as these Republicans when it comes to dividing the colored folks with y'all rants because y'all think that it's okay to hate on your colored gay brother and still promote the black agenda. No, the black agenda is anyone who's black, gays, straights.
That should be a whole episode.
Right? But
about homosexual, like, homophobia in communities of color. That's a good topic, I think.
boom, you see? We coming up with topics on the show while we're discussing a different topic. Baby. Not next episode, but future episode. But no, but seriously, don't allow yourself to be desensitized because at the end of the day, like we always say, keep that same energy everywhere you go. In the booth, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. The same way you want to fight the bitch on the block because she looked at your baby daddy because she blinked because it looked like she winked at him. I want you to go into that booth and fight the Republicans
but
and
really,
vote.
she just had an itch in her eye.
Right? Like, listen, I want that same energy when you gotta go out and vote. And I don't mean for the president. I don't mean for your senate. I mean for even the local politics, motherfuckers.
For your district
everything.
attorneys, for
All of
yes.
it. I want to see y'all involved. I want y'all educating y'all children at home. All right? I want you to promote. I want you to tell your daughter, you know what? I don't want you in the strip club.
That took a left turn that I wasn't expecting.
Right? No. I'm kidding. But no, we as a community do have to educate our children that is not only fast money. Because a lot of times we as minorities tend to think, okay, what's the quickest career we can get into to kind of just promote our social status and get to this point to kind of be better. And it's kind of like, no. Sometimes, you know what? We have to educate our children that sometimes it's the long haul. Like, it's cute to scam. But scam a future. Don't scam an immediate future. Long term, baby. So you scam to get the money you need to become legalized. Okay? You don't scam and end up in jail.
I'm gonna just let him take it. Go on.
Okay? Let's educate our babies. Let's educate our children. Let's educate future generations.
Let's nurture our women.
Let's nurture our women. The women who are out here raising our future generation single-handedly. Because a lot of, you know. I'm not going to touch on it, but we know. And that's what I feel like. Let's educate our children. Let's push them to take these important roles. And speaking of it, see?
What happened?
Family Feud. Jay-Z, Beyonce, I want to applaud you guys. Because the fact that you guys made a music video and the vision that you guys have for your child, who is a woman of color,
yes, that
was amazing. Because I didn't see her becoming an artist. I didn't see her becoming a music mogul producer. I didn't see her becoming just, okay, hi, I'm just receiving and I'm, what's the shit? Inheriting, there you go. Inheriting my parents' empire and throwing it to shit. No, their vision for their daughter is literally to be at the front line of change, of political change.
Having a seat at the table.
At the table. So to me, that's amazing because that's what we should do as a community. We should push our children, male, females, to take those positions of power because we're not going to get them for free. Then no one's going to hand them over to us. We're going to have to snatch them. The same way they snatched us out of Africa and brought us here, we got to snatch the power.
Ooh, I have one last question I have for I guess for both of us. What do you feel about this, angry black woman trope, and how do you think that fits into does it fit into or contradict the idea of being a strong woman of color? And I say angry black woman, but it can be angry Latina woman or whatever the case is.
Honestly,
how do you think that they interfere with each other? Like how do you think that we can, keep going about being the force that we need to be to get us out of situations like these and avoid this whole trope of you're just being too strong, because that happens a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like you voice an opinion that I think for whatever that
may
is,
be different
at work, in politics, and it's just whoa, you're being too strong right now. And in my head when I hear that, it's like whoa, how dare you speak up?
As you should. Because I'm gonna say this. A man will never second guess themselves walking into a meeting and saying what he has to say. Because at the end of the day, whether you think he's crazy, whether whatever came out his mouth is retarded, you can just look at him and be like, okay, we're not gonna do it, but thank you for your opinion. No one's gonna ever tell him, you jumped off the cliff. Women, it is 20 motherfucking 18. You guys have been fighting for your rights for far too long. If someone ever comes to your face and tells you, oh, no, you say yes, the fuck yes. Yes, the fuck yes.
Cheers to that.
Because no, I'm not here for the bullshit. I'm not here for the bullshit. You're not gonna come to me and tell me that fucking June on the side here has an opinion that shits on everybody else's, but because it shits on everybody else's, she can't have it. Why?
I want it all.
And we deserve to get it all.
Cheers.
We coming for our things. I may not be a woman. I may not be a woman of color, but I'm gonna assist my woman of color.
To collect the bag.
Listen, listen, and I'm coming with the army of women of color. Best believe that.
This is nice.
Hey.
I like it.
Everything nice. Talk to me nice. But quick question: Would you go into politics?
I mean, I feel like to be a woman of color in this country, and in a lot of countries, I feel like you have to be political. Like, I don't buy the whole, like, I am not political. Especially in this climate.
Everyone has an opinion.
You have to be political. However, would I see myself going into politics? Definitely not. It would be too detrimental to my well-being. And right now I'm all about my, like, staying in a safe space and making sure that I do what's best for myself, and I don't see that in my near future. Who knows? Maybe one day, but I definitely don't see that as my path.
Okay.
I think my path is more like, you know, doing the technical, like, dorky things and being more behind the scenes.
So you want to be a part of the people who hack into Hillary Clinton's server and get her emails? I live. That's cute.
Yeah, I'm that kind of person. I don't need to be on the forefront of anything. I'm very low key.
I got. With me personally, I don't know. I would like to be honest. As time has gone on, I kind of do feel like I wanna insert myself into certain aspects of politics, maybe on a local level, and maybe progress further. But would I see myself as probably like trying to like run for the Senate? No. I have lived a scandalous life at the ripe old age of 31.
You don't want those bits.
Whew. Listen, if y'all thought Trump's scandals were on Watergate's level, baby, I'm breaking everybody's record if I was to get into office. Y'all don't want these skeletons. Y'all don't want them. Y'all don't want them.
Just pack it up.
Just let them be buried. Leave them in the walls, leave them in the closet, leave them on the ground. Wherever the fuck you find a skeleton, bitch, leave it there. Leave it the fuck there.
But what about like local, like you said, local?
No, yeah,
So what about like community board things?
That I want to do. Like I really do want to get into that, which is something that I'm actually starting to research, because I don't, like I said in my New Me video, I don't really believe in New Year's resolutions. I just believe in doing things that I really, like I said, my thing to myself was, my promise to myself was to do the things I want to do and to not second guess myself and to not be not be that block in my path, because I feel like that's literally has been the story of my life. I'll say I want to do something, and then I'll convince myself that it was a good idea in the moment. 2 days later, I'm like, but you really can't do it because X, Y, Z. Fuck all that. I can and I will.
You're preaching to the choir, and you can and you will, and it takes a strong support system to also like reinforce that. Like I've learned about the idea of an accountability partner or partners, people who will hold you accountable. Like you said, you want to do this. What happened? Like let's go. And I think you have that. Like Mario again. Like I think you have that in your life, and like of course me and like all your other friends, and it's important. And I think I need that help too. So let's help each other.
I'm down for the count. But I seriously do. Like I really want to get into that, and like I said, it's a project that I'm working on, and I also want to use my platform of Unzipped to kind of, get into that as well. Like I said, I want to start conversations about everything. So whatever, like I said, things happen, I want to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it on here. You guys, again, have the choice of viewing it or not.
You better view it.
But I hope you do view it, because again, it's conversations that I feel like should be had. And again, I will always say this. If there's a topic that you would like for me to discuss, listen, there's an email right there on my YouTube channel. Email me. Subscribe to it. Leave a comment. Tell me the subject. My social media is everywhere. Let me know. Holla at me, y'all. I want to talk about it all. Except for, like the weird stuff. Like, don't...
That dark corner of the internet is going to happen.
I know, but like, you guys can send it to me, but I'm not going to talk about it. Like, I don't want to... Like, there's certain dark spaces that I don't want a membership to. Just to let y'all know. Y'all be crazy. Y'all know y'all be crazy. I'm crazy too, but...
But how are you going to know you don't want it until you see it? Send them all. Okay.
No, like I said, send all the topics. If it didn't make it to the show, either...
Then it wasn't for you at that time.
It wasn't for me at the time. Maybe, season 3. when there's actual budget and stuff. Right now, it's for the free 99. You can only do so much. But yeah, but as far as, like I said, the subject of women of color in politics, again, we're making strides. Y'all are kicking down the door. I'm in the back cheerleading because, again, I don't have a vagine, so I can't be that woman of color. But I am that man of color who is rooting for you.
Thank you.
No, like, seriously, no, I'm all the way here for it. Cory Booker, you're not a woman of color. But honorary, because you're also on the Senate Judiciary Committee along with Kamala Harris, so that makes 2 colored people on it.
It's history.
It's history. It really did make history.
They haven't had anyone of color since like the 1990s, I believe.
Exactly. So listen, keep doing you. Don't let the haters on the internet tell you that your performance was, a little bit forced. I was here for all of it. You yanked them wigs. You shift all of them, even toupees.
Can we talk about how the people who are being like questioned though, honorary mention to their willingness to just not recall anything?
Like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna send them a box of ginkgo biloba because a lot of y'all bitches, a lot of y'all motherfuckers in that motherfucking White House out here.
They're like, no.
Y'all got Alzheimer's? Is that like contagious or something? Is this something in y'all water in DC?
Even Trump, he said, I said it, but I didn't use those words, but I said it.
Like, what is going on with alternative facts?
Harsh language, but I said it, but I didn't.
I said something along those lines. I might have said shitholes, but I didn't say shitholes.
I might have said shithouse. It's different.
It might have been a shitty place. I don't know. I know shit was in there. I don't know if I said hole though.
Fake news.
And literally, and that's how he gets away with it.
Honorary mention to not also not a woman of color, Don Lemon. 2018, he's not having it. He's not having any of it.
All right, let's talk.
I
Pause.
was not a fan.
Tangent.
I am not a fan of him.
Tangent, because let's talk about the fact that you've been on snooze, motherfucker, this whole time, wanting to be PC, politically correct every time you have an interview.
He lost it. He said, "I'm tired."
Who pissed in your coffee? Who spit in your coffee?
I'm here for it though.
Who spit in your coffee? Someone spit in your coffee, and it might have been Caucasian because you just had no time. That he was like, get him off. So they snatched him off there so quick.
Next. And everyone's been taking that, and I applaud the media as much as like they, there's been like questions about like, what the veracity of like certain stories they publish and their intent on these things. I give them a round of applause for finally being over it. Being like, no, what you're not gonna do is come on my show and do this. There was another, I think her name was Joy Reid.
I was about to say,
Joy Reid is not here for any of it.
I want to give her, listen, if there was an award, MTV Awards, all of it, you deserve all of it because Mama does not have time. Literally, I've enjoyed watching her on TV for so long, especially during this administration, just because legitimately, I think it was maybe a couple of days ago, I literally saw her on TV going, what you're not going to do is come on my show and not know how things work.
She said, since you clearly don't know how they work, I'm going to educate you real quick.
And then said, and I'm not even going to have you talk back to me. I'm going to go to the next person.
She said, I'm going to put you on pause real quick. Leave you right on ice for a little bit.
Yeah, just defrost. Because clearly this ain't working for you. I love it. And you know what? They will say, you're an angry black woman. But you're not. You're not. You're a strong black woman.
You are smart.
You are smart. You are beautiful. You are calm. One of my favorite fucking movies still. Featuring women of color. No, but I do love that. The Help, Hidden Figures.
I like Hidden Figures. I wasn't a huge Help fan, to be honest with you.
No, I didn't.
But I loved Hidden Figures. It was memeable in my opinion.
I watched The Help so many times. I can give you guys quotes from the fucking movie, but this is not the time or the place. But I love that fucking movie. I'm gonna just say this. Minnie and Yo Shit Pie. Baby girl. Iconic. Legendary. I feel we might be related. I'm gonna do the ancestry.com and find out if Minnie's in my tree. Chill. But seriously, and they're not necessarily they're not in politics, but they are women of color, and I feel like they are a part of this Me Too movement that is kind of it's not political, but in a sense, I feel that it's encompassing all the industry. And although it's kind of right now focused on Hollywood, I want to give an applause to all the women who wore black for the award show. I want to give an applause to all the women of color, especially Viola Davis, especially it's on the tip of my tongue. Wine, fuck you, because you're making me space out.
That's good.
One of my favorite actresses, she's on Scandal, Kerry Washington.
Kerry Washington.
I love to hear you speak. I love to hear you express your opinions because you are amazing and you are clear and you honestly so well spoken that you can convince me that the sky was really land and land is sky, and I would be like, you know what? Might be. Maybe it's plausible.
It's plausible. But when have you seen the sky and the land be in this place at the same time?
Only on the horizon. But seriously, it's just so many people that I feel are taking stances, are getting involved, and I love to see people in Hollywood taking political stances, and not to say that you have to. I don't feel that no one has to use their platform to like advocate for anything, but it's good to see. You know what I'm saying? Like I love it. I love the fact that we're able to see our artists, like for example, like Beyonce, literally come out, and you know she was very avid about supporting Obama. She was an avid supporter of Hillary Clinton, and that's something that we need to see because again, these are people who we follow. These are people who our kids look. I say our kids like I have children, but I don't. But our kids look up to, you know, and let's be real. What kid you know is really sitting here clipping New York Times article about?
There are some, I'm sure.
There are some, but like it's you know what I'm saying. Like it's not the vast majority.
Right.
You know, they're out here following the Migos and the Cardi B's of the world, and that's okay. Like again, you're young. Like you know, that's live your youth, but at the same time, educate yourself on other subjects. And that's why I say it again. When our kids are looking at these artists, and sometimes these artists will say, "I'm not a role model," and in a sense, they're not. But they do have an influence, and what I will say is this: I'm not saying to curtail your activities or to curtail your personality, to curtail what makes you you, because clearly that's what brought you to where you are. But just keep in mind that when there are certain issues, not all, certain issues, especially ones that touch on the community that support you, it's always good to kind of, again, you don't have to sit here and give me an NYU essay about why it's detrimental for women to vote for Trump. Like, I don't need that from you. Like, it's fine. What I want to say is, if you have a message and you know that it's something you can stand for and it's something that's going to, help the broader agenda, be a part of it. Be a part of the conversation.
Right. It's good that you say that because I think that a lot of the like far right Trump proponents try to use that argument against people like both celebrity and other. They try to use the argument of, oh, your role is this, we don't want to hear you exerting your political influence. The same argument's been said for the NFL players who kneel, like the Kaepernicks of the world and all of the other like people who support them. It's like, oh, we tune in on Sunday to watch football, not to hear you take a stand. And that's like just, to me, it's just a means to silence those people, right? Yeah. You exist in my world in this box to do this, so do this. And I think it's just suppression.
No, but seriously.
No, but seriously,
like, bringing it back. No, just to kind of conclude the show, again, youth, go out there and vote.
Them.
Yes, the youth them. Go out there and vote. Be a part of the conversation. Don't ever be afraid to spark that conversation with your friends. Like, listen, and all of us, whether you're in the projects about to crack open a Dutch and roll a blunt, have the conversation while you're cracking open the Dutch and like, yo, did you heard about that nigga Trump calling Africa a shithole? Like, yo, spark the conversation, educate your peer. You never know who the greatest mind will be. Maybe you're gonna ask that one question, bring up that one topic, and next you know, he might be running for presidency 10 years later.
Right.
Still rolling blunts in the back of the motherfucker. What's good?
And to follow up on that point, to be involved politically doesn't necessarily have one face. It doesn't mean you have to go to every march that happens.
No.
It doesn't mean you have to protest outside of whatever. It means just getting involved in your community, being involved in local elections, educating yourself and others in whatever it is that you're passionate about, on whatever side you sit on. Hopefully it's, the side of humanity. But
of every color.
Yeah, it doesn't always have to be like fit in this box. So.
And that's what I'm saying, again, I just want to be an advocate for the voting, because literally that's what's changing things right now. But it can literally just, like I said, it can literally just be in that one moment, that one time you just have that one question, that one conversation, and that can be an eye-opener for someone else. That can literally drive that person to go on Google and find out this, and that could connect to something else, and then he can have that conversation with someone else, and it's that word of mouth. It can just start right there, and you guys have just literally gone light years on the right path, just because, like I said again. Yeah.
Start the dialogue and see where it goes.
It is.
Thank you for having me.
Oh no! Thank you for having me. I am in her home. Unzipped travel today. We changed locations, baby. We in Brooklyn filming. They don't know nothing about BK, baby. We, like I told you, we everywhere comfortably.
We everywhere. We on the move.
We everywhere comfortably, baby.
Unzipped mobile.
Hello. But no, yeah, like listen, have the conversation. Support your women of color, because clearly they're out here supporting us. They're out here battling for us. They're out here voting for us. Except for those two that have those videos with the glasses and the fucking plastic weaves. Is these two black women who are like Trump supporters.
You can show me after.
I will. They have that singing video. You know who you are. You guys are coons. y'all be up to some fucking coonery.
I want to see this.
And one of them looks like Jay Versace.
Oh no.
But
no. I love Jay Versace.
I do too. But one of them looks like he could be like his aunt or his mother. But yeah, support women of color. Like I said again, educate yourself on the politics. Educate yourself on what it takes to actually make things happen. Be a part of the movement. It could be something as minor as giving $1. But just again, we all have to band together, because if we don't band together and if we don't educate ourselves on our enemy, there will be no defeating the monster. It will just pop a new head every other time. So on that note, thank you, Priscilla, for joining me for this conversation. She's going to be here again on a different topic. Y'all need to know what topic. Y'all going to find out when the episode come out. But I'll see you guys on the next episode. It was a pleasure. Keep tuning in.
Bye.